Welcome to Sigma Eurasia. I'm Kavata Mercygrace, joined by Alex. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Probably just tell us who you are and what you do for those people who don't know.
Sure. My name is Alex. I am the CEO and founder of Alex's House of Social. I'm a social media and business creative strategist. So I pretty much help individuals and businesses grow their businesses and storytell on social media, in a nutshell.
Are there any particular industries or sectors that you think are especially ripe for entrepreneurship in the UAE?
I don't really feel there's some specific niches or industry. What I feel very excited about that I'm definitely seeing in the landscape is there's so much opportunity for so much, right? Because the UAE, it's still a fairly young market for entrepreneurship in the way where people are now bootstrapping their businesses or they're self-funding it like how I am. We are now having so many more flexible licenses. When I started 6 years ago, we didn't have freelance licenses. I had to get one of those big expensive licenses, which obviously that made it really harder for people to bootstrap and self-fund and start their businesses. Now, 6-7 years in, we're having way more diversity of licenses. We are having a lot more people coming into the UAE. There's more flexibility with visas. And also with COVID, of course, there was a huge boom on female, especially female-driven businesses. So I don't necessarily see a particular niche booming or rising. I definitely see just an overall boom and rise in people deciding to actually start their own businesses, either as a side hustle or, like me, just quit their 9 to 5 and start their own thing. And I think that's what's very exciting about the landscape in the UAE right now. Also, we are so young, right? The UAE is still such a young nation. So there's still so many untapped opportunities. So for anyone who's watching, I think this is the most exciting thing, is that there's still a lot of firsts that we can do in the UAE as, other markets like Asia or Europe or, North America, where entrepreneurship has been around so much longer. So there's still so much room for so many new things. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
Exciting. So, how important do you think it is for entrepreneurs to build a personal brand when starting a business?
It is. It's like the survival kit, you pack your survival kit, you need it, you have to. It drives me crazy how still people are not taking this so serious. There's so much power with having a personal brand. You've got your own equity, you've got your own leverage, and it can open so many doors. When I started, I wish I had started building my personal brand way earlier. I really only started building my personal brand when I launched my own business 7 years ago. And the power that comes with that in having your own leverage, your own identity, opens so many doors. Either you build a business like me, my whole business is predicated on my personal brand. And there's nothing more exciting for me than having my own freedom of being my own boss. And people can even take it in smaller steps. If you've got opinions, if you've got points of views, if you have passions, if you have hobbies, just put it out. Just start sharing that content, create a community, build a tribe. There's so many opportunities, from not just even having your own business and monetizing to building great communities, to working with other brands, monetizing. So even if you have a 9 to 5 and you feel that little fire in your belly that you think you would like to maybe have your own thing, or, I have a lot of friends that they have so many amazing, great opinions about the industries that they work at. And I'm always telling them, why don't you write a blog about it? Why don't you put it out? Why don't you share it, right? So much power in community. So it's a must for anybody who wants to either be their own boss or even have much more opportunities in the business world as well.
It really excites you when someone is getting into entrepreneurship. Probably just share with us some strategies that entrepreneurs can use to stretch their resources and make the most out of their bootstrapped budgets.
Yeah. So I was always a fan of bootstrapping. I think a lot of it goes down to my background as well. I've had to work for everything that I've had. I grew up with a mom who was self-made. She didn't go to university. She had to work from a very young age. So I kind of grew up with that example. I myself, I don't have any degrees. So I don't have a degree in business or marketing. Everything that I know, it's been by doing it in the real world, getting practical experience. Bootstrapping is phenomenal because it will teach you so much about can you really make it as an entrepreneur, you know? There's a lot of fancy entrepreneurship, you know, where people get given a lot of money to start. My biggest question to any kind of newbie entrepreneur or people thinking is, do you really need to get all of that funding? Do you really need to get that loan? You know, what savings do you have? How can you bootstrap it? When I started House of Social, and I always say it's like building blocks, building blocks. I get it. We have this big vision, and I get it because I had that. Big vision, I want to do so much. I see it and it's this big. Okay, this is great, but now how do you scale it down into building blocks, right? How much money do you have? What's your budget? You know, what can we do with this? And then how can you now start making money from that? What product can you build or what program can you create, right? And then see how that works and then build upon that. So I would urge a lot of entrepreneurs that want to get started or newbies to really think about bootstrapping it. You will learn a lot yourself. I always said, I want to see if I can make it. Can I sell? Can I make money? Because if you can't make money as an entrepreneur, then you are either going to have to go and get someone to work with you as a co-founder or very close to you that gets how to do that. Otherwise, you're going to be in this loop of constantly trying to raise money or get money from someplace else. So really consider bootstrapping, building blocks, which then means you got to have a lot of patience, a lot of patience in the macro. Right? In the micro, you move really fast. You got to move fast. You got to move. You got to pivot. You got to change. But in the big sense, you need to have that patience to allow time for things to work.
So are there any risks or downsides to build a personal brand when starting a business?
You know, I don't know if I would call them risks, but maybe, you know, when you put yourself out there on social media, it's not always going to be unicorns and glitter. And, you know, it's the moment you choose to put yourself out there, you are opening a door for people to really judge you and point fingers. So you have to be very conscious that that's something that's always going to happen, and you simply can't control a lot of it. Over my time, I've had a lot of bullying. I definitely have my haters club, as I call them, you know, and it's something that's going to come with the territory. It's a battle that you can't win because you will never be able to appeal to everybody. You have to stay very true to yourself. You have to really understand there will be people that love you one day and hate you one day. There will be people that will just hate on you. You can't control that. You will never be able to control people's perceptions and opinions of you. You always need to stay very true to your truth. And that's sometimes going to be hard because it can be very quickly that you get caught up on the game of I need to do what only people like. And you can lose your truth in that. And that's when you're a personal brand, that can be dangerous, right? Because now mentally you are starting to live a little bit of a lie. Oh, that's not really me. But I need to be that because that's what people have fed me that they like, because that's what gets more likes or more comments. But we can't. So we have to be, mentally, it can be hard at times, you know, and everybody will deal with it differently. But I guess to just wrap it up is you have to be okay with that, and you have to have a strong mental focus of, and you know, and there's things that you can do. You can delete comments, you can filter comments. So on my TikTok, I've definitely now put some filter words, right, to kind of avoid that. You could have community managers filtering through some of those comments so you don't see it. Every person is very individual. I love my hate. I love my haters. I actually find it very fascinating because it teaches me a lot about what's going on with people and their minds. I do love to engage at times as well. And so it's going to come with the territory. You can't control it. You can't fight it. You can always stay true to yourself. And the people that love you will always gravitate towards you. And I always want to be true to myself and know who are the people that enjoy my content and the ones that don't. It's fine. It's okay. It's really okay. Yeah.
It's quite challenging. So how does one know when it's time to seek outside funding instead of counting to bootstrap?
It really depends on the business you're trying to create as well, right? For example, I am starting my new business venture now, and it's a tech platform. And so if I would have the amount of savings required, even I would be bootstrapping that a lot. I think, but I will also say, to contradict what I just said now, even no matter what you're trying to build, definitely always look at what you have that you can put in that is yours, so that you always are putting in some of your money in, so that you are really going all in. There's something very unique about the feeling when you go all in with your money. That feeling, only the entrepreneurs listening that have done that know what I mean, because that's it. You're all in. You know what I mean? And that just gives you this fire in your ass every day to go extra, extra, extra. Because when you put your money in and it's yours and it's your time, things change, dynamics change, right? So I would just always urge to, if you have some savings, which is why it's so important to be saving money. I wish I had saved. I didn't save. So now I always tell people, hey, make sure that you are saving, so when that day comes that you want to like quit and start a job, that you've got something on the side. I definitely didn't do that. And so yeah, definitely try to bootstrap it as much as you can. Put some of your money in, and then it always depends on what you're trying to build. But have patience, scale it down to your most valuable product, your MVP, right, as we call it. So what is it that you really need for year one to succeed? What are those key performance indicators that you need to get on year one to really validate that your product is selling? So that you can really validate, my idea is working, I'm making money with these basics, and then you move on to get more money, more funding. So that's what I would definitely advise.
This has been an educative session. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.